Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 9, Episode 7, DJI Sales and Product Updates. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. Let's see who we got in here. Drone Shots, DD Fellows, Michael Wright, let's see here, RJ Redding, Logan, Lauren is here. Welcome, Lauren. It's good to see you on Drone Nation last night, Lauren. Captain Ray, welcome, Captain Ray. See who else we got. John Flynn, welcome, John. Let's see who else. Carlos Moran, welcome, Carlos. Joni Oki, welcome, my friend. Sergeant Rock, welcome. Good to see you. DD Fellows, Fly Guy Merrill, welcome. Steve Porter, sorry, Steve. Art, welcome. Good to see you. See who else we got here. I think I got everybody here. All right. Hey, I want to thank you guys last week. 750 views from last week's episode. That's probably one of the higher records in 9 years. So, and it was, just Ron and I doing our thing. So kudos to you guys. Thank you guys all so much. And I want to thank everybody who took time out to wish us a happy anniversary and to comment on the video. It was a labor of love. And it was a lot of fun, a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. And it really brought a nice smile to my wife's face. And we had a great time celebrating our 15th anniversary. Working on the next 15 right now, that's for sure. So, and again, thank you guys for that. Appreciate that. It's not been this Sunday, and I forgot to check the app, but the weather forecast, winds were in excess of 50 miles an hour on Sunday. It was just the weekend. It's funny because lately our weather's been picking up to where you can probably try to get outside and actually go flying. But unfortunately, the days that it's not really good now are like Saturday and Sunday. Okay. And, and one of the days we got to run errands, like do grocery shopping, go to the bank, that kind of stuff. And, our time gets sucked up. And then the day that I have free, and it's like too windy out there and can't do stuff and all that. So yeah, I'll get out. I'll fly. Don't worry. Yeah. King Dog, welcome. Good to see you. So that's kind of where things are. Ron's going to join us here in a little bit. And instead of we're going to talk Olympics. We're going to talk Olympic hockey tonight. So it'll be USA Hockey Nation tonight before we close up. So, oh, wow, Johnny. Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, actually, that's a good point that you raised, my friend, because right by us in Waimama, DD Fellows, yeah. I don't have my phone handy, but on the front of my phone, I have a countdown on there for how many days until I retire. Yes, it's on that phone. I see it every day. It's one of the best numbers seen going down that I've ever seen in my entire life. So yeah, absolutely. Dale's Drone, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. All right. So, one of the things that kind of hit me this week, I know there's not a lot to talk about, but it ended up that there actually is. And surprisingly so. I mean, I really, from everything I was seeing, I wasn't seeing it, but then I did see this first article that came popping up here was kind of a surprise, and it kind of came from out of the blue. Anzu discontinues Raptor drone series amid supply chain crisis. As you know, Anzu Robotics, and we had Randall Warnes on. We had him on a Rotor Talk, and it actually got the attention of the federal government, believe it or not. Warnes wrote, this is an official notice. Anzu Raptor series is no longer available for purchase due to several component shortages mandatory for further production, Warnes wrote, adding that strong demand last year, driven in part by behavior tied to NDAA 2025, caused earlier than expected stock depletion and disrupted manufacturing timing. However, he emphasized, we are far from done. We're committed to being a leading drone manufacturer, okay? The Raptor family consists of the baseline Anzu Raptor and the thermal-equipped Raptor T, debuted in the U.S. in spring 2024. The drones were built on the popular DJI Mavic 3 Enterprise platform. They offered features such as 45-minute flight times, hybrid zoom imaging, and optional RTK positioning. Let's see right here. The discontinuation of the Raptor series reinforces just how challenging it can be for emerging drone manufacturers to balance geopolitical expectations, international supply chain constraints, and technical dependence on established technology providers. For Anzu's enterprise and public safety customers who invested early in the Raptor platform, the announcement marks an unexpected pivot point and one that sets a new stage for whatever product comes next. Okay, well, it's not, Anzu Robotics is going nowhere. However, the Raptor is. This is what it kind of sounds like, and it's kind of like TBD. We'll see what goes on there. But the big thing with all this, Lauren, you're right, exactly. Okay, it's and you know what, Lauren, it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. And everybody who thinks, these companies that think that they can, we'll build a better widget than DJI. Good luck and God bless, because brother, that ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen in the short run. And I'm talking 5 years. It's going to take at least 10 years or so of dedicated heads down, dedication to get to that point. All right. It's going to take the kind of dedication. If they're serious about making a better drone, it's going to take the kind of dedication that it took the United States when Kennedy challenged us to land a man on the moon by the end of the decade in 1960. So it's going to take that kind of a challenge. It's going to take a lot of people stepping up to the plate to do this. And I personally, I don't see it. I don't see it. So, all right, we're going to move on here. All right. One of the things that, and I know 99% of you do this, and this is for the 1% that doesn't. All right, you follow the rules, okay? You follow the rules as a Part 107 pilot or as a hobbyist as they pertain to you. You do what you're supposed to do. All right, you don't do stupid things. All right. Well, guess what? There were some people that have done some stupid things, and the FAA said, you know what? We're not going to. We're going to make sure that if you do stupid things, you win stupid prizes. So FAA steps up enforcement against reckless drone pilots here. Big fines for high-risk drone flights. According to the agency, 18 operations that occurred between 2023 and 2025 resulted in fines ranging from $1,771 to $36,770. The largest penalty of $36,770 was issued to an operator who flew the emergency response aircraft during a wildfire in April 2023. Drones in wildfire zones can interfere with firefighting aircraft, potentially grounding operations and putting lives at risk. And we all know what happened with that, okay? That water, that aircraft that dumps water on the fires had to land because they had were damaged in the wing. Another operator was fined $20,371 for flying in restricted airspace near Mar-a-Lago, okay? And you don't need any explanation as to that, okay? Why, and again, I'll just ask for the sake of, my sanity here, you all know this, okay? Nobody wants to go to jail here, folks. And you do stuff like this, you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes, beyond these fines. I don't know. The area frequently carries TFRs, especially when high-profile individuals are present. We all know who that is, okay? You don't do this kind of stuff. It's just, beyond stupidity. Large public events were also a focus. One operator was fined $20,370 for flying over people at the Sunfest Music Festival in West Palm Beach, Florida, in May 2024. That drone ultimately struck a tree. Another case involved a $14,790 fine for operating near State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, during the Super Bowl in February 2023, one of the most highly secured sporting events in the country. In each case, the FAA said the operations posed risk to people on the ground, other aircraft, and public safety. Financial penalties weren't the only enforcement tool, okay? The FAA also took action against 8 remote pilots in 2025, suspending or revoking their certificates. One pilot had their license suspended after their drone became entangled with a paraglider in January 2025, forcing the paraglider pilot into an emergency landing. Another suspension followed multiple safety violations during a drone light show at Lake Eola in Orlando in December 2024. Flying over sporting events remains a recurring problem. One pilot license was suspended for operating over people during an NFL game in Baltimore in November 2024. All right. In most serious case, the FAA revoked a remote pilot's license entirely for operating in restricted airspace near Mar-a-Lago. Again, the stupidity of these people are just ginormous here, okay? Stronger enforcement policy in 2026. 2026, the FAA updated its enforcement policy to require legal action when drone operations endanger the public, violate airspace restrictions, are conducted in furtherance of another crime. The policy formalizes a tougher stance and aims to strengthen deterrence. The FAA will take decisive action against drone operators who ignore safety rules or operate without authorization. Those unsafe operations create serious risks, and the FAA will hold operators fully accountable for any violations. Under federal law, drone operators can be fined up to $75,000 per violation. In addition, the agency can suspend or revoke pilot certificates. For context, many drone pilots, whether hobbyist or commercial operators, are required to pass the Part 107 and follow strict rules governing airspace operations over people and flights near emergency response activities. TFRs are frequently put in place around disasters, VIP travel, and major sporting events. The agency is also urging the public to report unsafe drone activity to their local flight standards district office. Officials say all credible reports are reviewed and investigated when appropriate. It boggles my mind here, guys. And correct me if I'm wrong. Logan. I'm of the opinion here. Yeah, I'm of the opinion of, let's, and I got to say this, the FAA, I'm glad they're picking this up, and I'm glad they're enforcing, and I'm glad that people will get caught. Okay. So don't think you're going to get away with stuff when you do this kind of stuff. All right. Number one. And number two, okay, what are you trying to gain from this? Okay. Because if you go out there on YouTube and you put a video out there from this, the whole world knows it's you. Okay. The law enforcement will come after you, and they'll be knocking on your door faster than it could take you to go from the living room to the dining room. All right. And the other thing is, all right, the FCC's been cracking down, on ham radio, illegal ham radio operators for years, and some of the things that they do, which are really, that's a whole show in and of itself. I can talk to you guys for hours on end with that. There he is. How are you, sir?
Bill, how are you tonight?
Good. Talking about rogue drone operators and fines and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah. Ron, okay, tell me this. All right. A TFR is in place around Mar-a-Lago. Okay. And everybody knows who goes to Mar-a-Lago. Okay.
Right.
Why on God's green earth would you violate a TFR just to get a video over there? I mean,
yeah.
I
mean, I don't know the exact things of the story, but when the president's there, the TFR goes almost all the way up to where we have our meeting in Jetson Beach, Florida. So I mean, somebody may be flying in that TFR, way far away and not think they're in it or whatever. I don't know the specific story. Were they flying right over the president's home, or were they just flying within? It almost goes, it's a long way from Mar-a-Lago to where Stewart, Florida. It could go 30, 40 miles.
Yeah, it's a wide-reaching TFR, and it's done that way on purpose.
And I'll give you an example. If you were flying at the South Florida Drone Meetup, off the causeway there, and you were flying south and you went too far across that causeway, you may be into the TFR.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's almost like, I've heard talk that they may at times, if the Mar-a-Lago's primary resident there decides to show up and stay there. Well, what if after his presidency, he decides to, he's going to live there full time? Are they going to have a full-time TFR around there or a reduced one? Who knows? They might. And, and you got to plan accordingly for stuff like that.
Yeah,
You know, it's just
I don't think so, because I live close enough to former President Biden. When when I'm near at the bottom of New Jersey, whatever, there's no TFR in effect because Biden's is home in Wilmington or down at the Delaware seashore. So
okay.
yeah, I
So
mean,
okay.
I'm only using that as an example, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, some of those TFRs are so far away, like say in Stewart Beach, no drone that we know could fly from there to Mar-a-Lago.
That's true. That's very true. So,
and I understand the TFR is not in effect just for us hobbyist droners. It's in effect for manned aircraft that really
that's
could
commercial that's commercial and private pilots. Yeah, they can't. Nobody can fly in there. I mean, that's just you risk. And if you're flying in a private aircraft like that, you could risk being shot down. Okay, that's how serious they take this.
And of course, if a commercial airline had to use that space to get to an airport, they could probably get a waiver.
Yeah, I would think that would be possible. So,
because I mean what's the airport down there? The one near Palm Beach. I'm trying to think of the exact name, whatever. That's got to be in the TFR, but traffic still comes and goes there.
Yeah. Well, that
West Palm Beach is it?
West Palm Beach, yeah.
And that's got to be in TFR, and the airlines still go in now there, regardless if the president's there or not.
Yeah. Now, we've reached the part of the show. We're going to be talking about DJI for the rest of the show. And, the first thing that I wanted to talk about right here was, and I know you guys talked about this last night, but I mean, this is just crazy, Ron. This is just absolutely crazy. The original DJI Neo is $149 on Amazon. I mean, what more of an invitation do you need to punch your ticket to get your first drone than this? I mean,
no, I didn't get a chance to get around to it last night. I wanted to ask the panel, how much was that drone, just drone only, when it came out? I'm thinking it was somewhere like, it was $229. Am I off on that, or was that the price when it came out?
I think you're right, Ron. I think you're right. It's been a minute since I looked to see what that is.
So I mean, that drone is, I don't know, it's like 40% off the original price or something like that then, Bill.
Yeah. I mean,
and we all know this is the type of drone, if you already have any recent DJI controller, you go fly it with that controller.
Yeah. I mean, you can buy the drone alone. Okay. And what I did when I got my second Neo 2, I just bought the drone alone by itself.
Yeah.
Then I bought the antenna for it, so I could hook the antenna on the back. The module. So I mean, and that's all I needed, because I had batteries, I had controller. I'm good here.
Right. You don't need your fifth RCN3 controller.
Right. Now it shows the different combinations here. One battery controller free, $149. 3 battery combo controller free, $219. A Neo Fly More combo RCN3 plus batteries plus hub, $259. Neo Motion Fly More combo FPV gear plus 3 batteries plus hub, $399.
Bill, that may be the best deal at all, because aren't those goggles that come with it? The box ones they're almost like they're like $250, $300 just on their own.
Just on your own, exactly, Ron, exactly. So that makes that an absolute.
And the motion controller is like $100 or whatever. So I mean, that's a real good deal on that last one if you intend to fly with goggles.
Exactly. Okay. Now, and not to be outdone on this, all right, is now the Mini 5 Pro. And again, I keep bringing this up, and there was another article on Drone DJ about it, but I mean, it's worthy of saying it again. It's on sale. Okay. And it's $759 on Amazon with Amazon Prime shipping. I mean, you cannot beat that. It's like 2-day shipping for most places where you're at. And oh yeah, by the way, I want to throw this in. Where I live right now, it's technically near Ruskin, Florida, and we have a distribution center here. I have the option to have things drone delivered to my house now.
From Amazon.
From Amazon, correct.
Wow.
I'm going to do that one of these days and go out there and film them. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but yeah, here we are, the Mini 5 Pro.
Hey, Joe
And
Noki helped us in chat. He said the original price for the standard Neo was $199 if you just got the drone.
Thank you, Joni.
So it's a $50 thing off now. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Now, what makes the Mini 5 Pro drone so special? At heart is a large format camera sensor, roughly 1 inch in size, which lets the Mini 5 Pro capture sharp, high dynamic range photos and videos that are punchier and cleaner than most ultralight drones. It supports crisp 4K footage, high frame rates for slow motion, and advanced color profiles that help make every shot look more cinematic. I mean, it really rivals, and I think maybe somebody on the panel last night might have mentioned it. I think it may have been Marcus, that it really rivals the Air 3S in terms of the quality of the videos and the photos from the Mini 5 Pro.
He was pointing out that the Air 3S is older than the Mavic 4 Pro and the Mini 5 Pro, so it doesn't have the dual ISO that the Air 3S doesn't have the dual ISO that the Mini 5 Pro has. So that's
exactly
an advantage for the Mini 5.
And one of the things here, 3 intelligent flight batteries, which dramatically extend total airtime. Instead of a single battery's 30-minute plus, you're looking at roughly 100 minutes of total flight time. Extra propellers. There's something to be said to have the Pro battery, which I went ahead and I made sure when I ordered it from eBay that I got the Pro batteries with the Fly More combo, and you can get a little over 30 minutes on that Pro battery, Ron. And to me, that's almost too much time for me. Okay. My flights are not going to be more than 15 minutes max, out and back kind of thing. Because I'm usually, and I think you're the same way too. You position yourself in such an area that you're not going to be that far from your subject and be within an easy distance.
I mean, the only advantage of batteries like that, if you're doing a pro job, you can go to more than one location with the same battery.
Exactly.
When you're flying pro, I mean, amateur flyers usually fly the battery down to whatever it says return to home. But a pro doesn't fly the battery down for no reason. If he gets the shots he needs, he turns the drone off. That drone still has 50% battery life left. He can go to the next location, do the same thing, get the shots he needs. So that's the advantage of the longer flight times for pros and so even non-pros. Sometimes I'm just going on a casual flight. I'm going down to lose something. I get all the shots I need. I still have 50% battery. I'm not going to just fly around aimlessly for another 50% of the battery just to wear it down or whatever. I may go to the spot. I may fly the next day or something like that.
Exactly. And and that's the beauty of this. And I do want to go ahead and mention at this point, and I know Lauren had brought it up a little bit last night when you had him on. And by the way, it was great hearing from him last night. That was always Lauren. Always appreciate your insight and your comments. Very well done last night. But Canada's going down. I want to let you know that Team USA is going to clean their clock this year in hockey. Just mark it down on your calendar.
Well, the women are playing the U.S. women are playing the U.S. Canadian women in the finals, right?
For the gold medal. Yep.
Yeah.
And we've won 3 in a row. We have our next game is tomorrow, and was depending on who's going to win today. And we're going to kind of talk hockey at the top of the hour here before we're going to have USA Hockey Nation tonight instead of Steeler Nation.
The poor Steelers. Well, it's that time of year. It's just not much going on. Free agency hasn't started yet, and the draft stuff hasn't started yet. So it's just a slow time of year.
Exactly. But all that being said, Lauren kind of hinted around to maybe next month that we're going to be seeing the new Lido from DJI, and there's 2 flavors of it, and it's the rumor is that it's going to take care of the Mini 4K kind of series as far as a budget type of drone, entry level type of drone for DJI with the 4 folding arms on it. So stay tuned for that. That's why we've been seeing these sales. That's why the Neo's been on sale. That's why.
Bill, that's a good point you bring up, and I'm going to ask you this question. If you say you're just getting a drone, you're trying to get a drone, would you advise people to go ahead and grab these great deals right now, or wait until next month and pay more to get something that's maybe only incrementally better, or jump on these great sales now?
It all depends on your needs, Ron. And if you obviously, if you need a drone, you need to get one now. Okay. You don't
As
mess
you're a
around.
beginner, you don't really know your needs. As
That's
a
true.
beginner, you know what you know, Bill. You know what you can afford.
Exactly. And for what you get with a Mini 5 Pro, I mean, you're not going to get what's coming out in the next month or two. Okay. You're not going to get a better drone than that for in that classification of drone. Okay. You've reached the pinnacle as far as that's concerned. So for that kind of price point for 759 for the basic drone battery and controller, it's a no brainer. I mean, it really
But Bill,
was.
let's kind of describe I'm going to call it the average Bill the drone reviewer, kind of follower in the chat here. They're probably the type of person a couple years ago, they bought the DJI Mini 2, right, Bill? And they said, well, this is all the drone I need. It does everything I want, right? Well, 6 months later, they're looking at the Air saying, well, you know what? That Air looks pretty good. I think I'll go ahead and get that Air drone, right, Bill?
Yeah.
And then they fly that for 6 months, a year, and they said, when they first get this is all the drone I'm ever going to need or whatever, right? But then another year goes by, you know what they think? You know what? I may need that new Mavic, that Mavic drone. So before you know it, you have a whole shelf full of drones that you didn't think you needed, right, Bill?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they start piling up here. Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk about and to clear up some misunderstanding, I know a lot of people were talking about this, and I'm glad Hay put an article out about it. It's regarding everybody. At first, people thought it was a current employee of DJI, but here it's a former DJI employee was detained in China on bribery charges, accused of huge illicit gains. And this is I'll let you read the article at the leisure. Development DJI's former sales VP Juan has been criminally detained by Chinese public security authorities in February 2026, accusing accepting bribes as a non-state employee. The scope: he was fully responsible for DJI's global sales strategy from 2019 to 2024. Investigators described huge amounts of illicit gains obtained through channel partnerships and order allocations. The pattern: this is DJI's second major corruption crisis. In 2019, an internal probe exposed CNY. That's their so many billion, 150 million in supply chain fraud involving 45 employees. The company has not publicly commented on this detention. DroneXL has reached out to DJI for comment. Okay. He faces China's private sector bribery charges after 5 years running DJI sales. Well, if anybody would know the system, he would know the system. He would know how to work it, and it looks like he obviously did, and he took advantage of it. But that's just when you think you're getting away with it, you're not. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this other than to say, it's everywhere. Okay, it's not only here in the United States. You can see it's international as well too.
Whenever there's a lot of money on the table, it's going to happen.
Yeah, and this is something, and read DroneXL's take on it. High it's a good article. He always writes good articles here, and definitely I think this is something you should probably check out at your leisure. But I wanted to make sure that people knew he's not a current DJI employee. He's a former DJI employee. So just to kind of set the context on that straight, because I had several people ask me about that, and I wanted to make sure that we knew that. And going forward, that's where we're at. I think it's important to note here, that when you get into positions like this, it's easy to go ahead and do things like this, and you think nobody's watching you. All right, when in reality, the way things are today, Ron, everybody's watching. There's a camera somewhere. There's a camera on your laptop. There's recording devices. There's smartphones. People are watching.
There's all that's being done all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I think it's important to remember, Bill, this man hasn't been convicted yet.
He's true. Accused. That's true.
So this man, he may or may not be found guilty of this crime.
That's true. But I don't know how Chinese justice works.
You don't get too fair of a shake over there, huh, Bill?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be getting his court appointed attorney.
No Johnny Cochran's over there, huh?
No, I don't think so. I think he's probably going to be in for a rough time over there. So, you find out how as bad as our justice system is, it's better than most countries. Just to keep that in context,
especially if you're the the accused.
Now, this was very interesting here, and I saw this today, and it kind of surprised me and took me back a little bit. But it said DJI just pulled a plot twist for worthy of a mid-season finale for the Osmo 360. Okay, single lens live stream, ND filter effects, vertical boost video, and film tone. Okay, let's get into this here a little bit. And there's an update for it here, and this lists the update. The Adventure Combo price slid from $700 to $511. That's not a gentle nudge. That's a $189 cannonball into the pool. I'm not a 360 camera lover. This price makes me think twice about it. Firmware updates usually fix bugs. This one feels like it adopted new hobbies, got a new gym membership, and started posting vertically here. Vertical is no longer an afterthought, and it talks about this update right here. You can record in 2.7K or 4K and post straight to TikTok, Reels, or Shorts without performing digital gymnastics in post. So that's interesting here. Live streaming gets a personality. Live streamers also got an upgrade that feels less security camera and more like mobile TV studio. Using DJI Mimo app, you can switch between the front and rear lenses while broadcasting. That means you can react, turn, show the scene, and come back to your face without breaking the flow. It's storytelling with options instead of static webcam vibe. Even better, the camera records a local 1080p file during the live stream. Translation, you are no longer stuck with whatever compressed soup the platform serves back to you. If the stream glitches, you can still own a clean copy. This alone will make a few creators sleep better at night. That's a really good feature, Ron. I like hearing that. Film tone and digital ND without the gear bag. DJI also adds multiple film tone color profiles. Some are cool and balanced. Some boast vibrancy for landscapes. There's even a retro urban look for creators who enjoy making concrete look poetic here. Film tone, Osmo 360 now offers a range of new film tones such as CC, NC, and TR. With a single tap, you can create a unique visual atmosphere for your 360 videos here. ND filter effects, it shows these. A Pocket Studio at a not so painful price. I mean, they lowered the price and they made it very attractive here, Ron, to people who would be, wanting to take that plunge. And I think the large part of it is for content creators like us, we don't see, adding it in our workflow. And I know when you guys had Eddie on, and I heard him say something to the effect, I'm going to shoot a lot of footage here, and it's going to take me hours to maybe get 30 seconds of footage out in my video here, for like a B-roll or something. Instead I'll use like a GoPro Hero or an action cam to do that, and it will suffice. So I mean, it's a good deal.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing holding the DJI 360 camera back is it doesn't have replaceable lenses. Whereas competitors, Insta360 and GoPro, have user replaceable lenses, and those, being you have those dual lenses, are easy to scratch. Camera's easy to tip over. So a footnote, Bill, even the little DJI Nano camera got the film tones with the update this week.
Oh, wow. Okay. I need to get mine out and going here. Like I said, I haven't had a chance. Ron, this weekend on Sunday, I know Joni Aoki responded, but our winds here were around 50 miles an hour on Sunday. Wow. It was not conducive to flying, for sure.
We had that the weekend before when we had the 50-mile-per-hour wind, because this weekend we actually had a decent day on Valentine's Day on Saturday.
Yeah, we did too. Saturday was very nice. It was real nice here. Now, one other article, and this is on the Mini 5 Pro, and I'm glad Sean shared this, because I think this is really good here. Okay, and a lot of people have seen it and commented on it, but they didn't know what it was. Where you can get the images off of the sensors themselves in black and white, and it's called Vision Assist. All right. And it really lends a great perspective. I have that on the Mavic 4 Pro, and I absolutely love it. And Sean points out
that first appeared on like the the Mavic 3 series and the Air 3 or whatever. So it's been around a few years now. Right.
And I really, and Sean walks you through on how to use that here. And it really, I'm very impressed with its capabilities, and I think it does an absolutely fantastic
I
job.
don't know if it's in this article, but in the video Sean posted just recently, he showed how you could detach the vision assist window from that main either map or altimeter window and have it as separate things so you can see both at the same time. Now, on the Air 2 Pro, out of the box, it came detached, where the vision assist was hanging on its own. But he showed on the RC2 how you could detach it and have both windows open at the same time, the vision assist and either the maps or the radar window, whatever you choose. So
Right.
that's kind of nice. Now, the only problem is on the RC2, the screen's smaller, so it kind of really cramps your space a little bit. If you want all that real estate to see what you're filming, where of course on the bigger RC2 Pro screen, it's not as big as a deal having the two screens up hogging real estate on the controller.
Yeah, the first time I saw it, I was so impressed. Well, that's a good point.
And now one of the upgrades is, I don't know how long it's been around, but now when you go to move one direction, the vision assist camera will actually show you that way. Where in the old days you had to do it manually, but now it just automatically goes the way you're like if you're flying to the left, it'll show you the left.
I absolutely love that, Ron. I thought that was just an incredible feature that DJI added onto this. And like you said, I think the real estate on the RC Pro 2, it really kind of lends itself to really, I mean, it's really crisp, it's really clear, and you get to see it. And it really is beneficial. A lot of people at first were like saying, no, it is beneficial.
I mean, what it's good for is people like to fly sideways, really. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Okay.
People used to run in the trees before.
Yeah, you can, something might pop into your vision. You can take your hand off the stick and say, you know what, if I'd have continued, I'd have hit something. Obstacle sensing, works great, but it isn't 100% foolproof. Always trust your eyes and your hands and your instincts before, before that. That's for sure. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to talk about tonight, everybody's talking about the Pocket 4. Well, lo and behold, and I think Ron, I think you started mentioning this last week about Insta360, and sure enough, Insta360 Luna takes on DJI Pocket 4. And this was talked about by our master himself. Okay, the Jedi Master of Sunrises and Sunsets, sitting here, Mr. Ron Braun. Okay,
I got it from Igor was the first person I think that was posting about that.
Exactly here. Okay. And here's kind of a peek at it. And it's real interesting because, it really, with the dual lenses up here, and
it looks like Wally.
Yeah. I was going to say it does look look a lot like, pocket camera that looks like Wally, I think it's going to be a hit. I think it's going to do well.
You think possibly they could get the market before DJI?
That's a real good possibility, Ron, because DJI is kind of dragging their feet a little bit here with this. I mean, it may not be intentional, because, to get a product completely to market, testing it, getting marketing strategies done, getting enough units out there and everything. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And I think that's where DJI is with this. It kind of sounds like they're ready. It kind of sounds like they want to.
And even though DJI is by far the leader in drones, Insta360 has a lot more experience getting cameras released.
Exactly. Okay. So I'm thinking, this is going to probably happen sooner rather than later.
So we should sit back away from both of them to come out so we can figure out which one is the best or which one is the most affordable.
Yeah, and it says right here, Luna is just not a new camera. It's a strategic punch thrown directly at DJI's core product line, wrapped in an adorable face of a Pixar robot. If Insta360 delivers strong stabilization, competitive image quality, modular flexibility, and a price that undercuts or matches the Pocket 4, this could be the first serious disruption in the pocket gimbal category since DJI created it. Okay, that's a really good take. But here's the brutal truth. DJI has experience, polish, and a loyal base that upgrades almost automatically. Pocket 4 lands with major sensor improvements and refined software. Luna will need more than personality and dual lenses to win. Still, competition is good. It forces innovation. It forces better pricing. It forces companies to stop playing it safe. Okay, so with them coming out with this announcement right now, Ron, and the delay with the Pocket 4, I got to think that Insta360, if they can get their acting gear and get this out to market here, they're going to probably they're going to get their share of people who are considering the Pocket 4 and say, you know what, it's not out. I don't know when it's coming out, but the Insta360 Luna is out. We're going to take a look at it and see what it's like. So we'll go ahead and pick one up.
Yeah.
I kind of think that that's where we're at with that. I mean, it's not that far off as far as that's concerned.
And maybe with two competing Pocket devices, maybe that'll help keep the prices down on them a little bit.
Yes, in the article, that's a great point, Ron. Competition is always good, especially in terms of prices with this, and I think it will keep the price reasonable. I think it'll keep DJI in check. So
nobody likes to get undersold in the market, right, Bill?
Absolutely. Here now, the next article here that we have, and I'm real thankful for this, okay, because I think our good friend Jasper Ellens did this article here. The real DJI AVATA 360 leaks video promo features and release date here. All right, because there's been a lot of talk about it, and I think Jasper decided, you know what, let me go ahead and level set some things here, okay? And this is exactly what he did. After 3 months,
see that little graphic up top, Bill. That's what you see in the DJI goggles. And somebody saw it as somebody had a beta version of software for the goggles, and the 360 appeared in the goggles.
There you go. Okay, there you go, right there. Finally, a leaked video showing the upcoming DJI AVATA 360, and that's what you just talked about. Happy to announce the release period at the end of this article. Cheers, he said. Okay, and there's the image right here. I don't want to play.
They have a little video. Yeah, we better not play it. Yeah,
because I don't want to get dinged for that. But this is the image of what you see. What Ron was just talking about right here. AVATA bundles and prices. AVATA 360 drone only, $499. AVATA 360 with the RC2 bundle, $699. AVATA 360 Fly More combo, RC2, looks like $999. AVATA 360 goggles N3 combo, $1,200. This will destroy expensive anti-gravity drone, if you ask me. Okay, he's probably right.
Bill, go back for a second on his prices. Their prices are the same prices that got leaked at the beginning of the year, early January. So that's nothing new there.
Right.
But Bill, do you really think the prices will be this good on this drone, or you think this is wishful thinking?
No, I think it's very much within the realm of possibility, Ron. $499 for that. And and let's face it, the AVATA 360, it's a grown up, it's an older brother of the Neo 2. All right, it really, you look at the AVATA 360, it looks a lot like the Neo 2 in every respect, but it's like an older brother who's grown up here. All right,
and you think the day after that the 360 is released, that the anti-gravity will take a big price cut?
Oh, I'm sure it probably will, Ron. I'm sure they most likely will. Let's jump into DeLorean and revisit the leaked promotional pictures. Let's look here. And he's going through that. Drone AI leaks, fake or reality. Spend some time talking about it. And you guys can go ahead and read
that last picture, the one Igor just released a few days ago. That's a new one. We haven't seen that one before, with the drone on the carpet with the battery hub or whatever. That looks like a real picture rather than an AI picture, because
I agree, Ron.
AI picture would never throw the fold up landing pad in there and whatever. So I think that's a real photo.
And I agree, because you also look at things aren't square, because AI pictures, everything looks perpendicular, everything's lined up. Things aren't lined up in this picture.
Somebody just randomly put that in their carpet floor. Yep.
They're kind of askew there. And AVATA 360 releases in March.
Now, we always talk about this. We say March or whatever date we're saying, but usually when they say March, they don't mean March 1st, Bill. They mean closer to March 31st, right? Right.
So, just because he says March doesn't mean, oh yeah, March 1st, I'm gonna be able to get this.
I would even start looking until at least the 15th, right?
Yeah. Now, all I can say is it'll be a March release, and that is expected to launch in mainland China first. Okay.
Right. Of course, that's where we get our drones from now, anyways, Bill.
Yeah, we're gonna get them from China anyway.
It won't release in the U.S. anyways.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. So, and again, and I think what really intrigues me here, Ron, is I think DJI has done real well in terms of trying to get people on board with the 360 kind of thinking. And their attempt at the first 360 was good, but they need to look in terms of being able to do the replacement lenses on there, which is a real critical thing. But I think with this, I think they probably have refined the app. I think they may have refined the processing on this, because I think a lot of people want to embrace this and want to use it, and they'll be able to use this. And I think the thing for me, I mean, I jumped on it when I could use it with my regular controller. Okay. When I found that out and I didn't need goggles for something like this, I said, sign me up. All right.
Plus, rumors say you'll be able to use this in single lens mode. So you won't have to shoot in 360. You can just shoot in like a normal, just shoot normal video. That's the rumor on this.
Exactly here. And I think that's really going to kind of lend itself. And I think if I'm right, if I'm not mistaken, okay, when this does come out, you're going to see anti-gravity prices drop drastically. Okay. They're going to take a nosedive on this, because I think this thing is
so even if you're thinking about getting anti-gravity, just kind of hang out for that price cut.
Yeah. If that's in your ballpark.
Look what DD Fellows is saying in the chat. He said anti-gravity announced that the stick controller for their drone is coming out in July. I mean, that's great, DD, but if DJI 360 comes out in March, that's like 3-4 months later. It may be too late by July, right, Bill?
Yeah.
That stick controller needs to be out the day before the DJI 360 drone is released.
Exactly. DD Fellows, I think all of us are with you on that. I'm not going to get it the first week though, because I want that price to settle down.
Yeah,
I think
Ron. Well, I don't know if it is $499. I don't think you're ever going to see it lower than $499. But what I think, Bill, is those Asia sellers, they're not going to sell the $499. They're going to sell for $599 or higher for, like you said, probably the first week or two, and then you'll see it eventually dip down closer to the $499 mark.
Exactly. So hang on, hang tight. And I know DD Fellows, you want to get it, but a week later than getting it a week sooner than later is not really going to make that much of a difference.
And who knows, that week sooner, it may rain that whole week or whatever. You may not fly it anyway.
Yeah, you buy it, and then that was like, I'll never forget when I got my Mavic 2 Pro, when it arrived, the day it arrived, it was one of those Saturdays that did not, it was like rain, and more rain. Okay. It wasn't going to let up. So I had to wait till the next day. And even the next day was kind of dicey. I had to dodge between the water drops out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that old adage, it's like, when you get something like this and you have to use it outside, of course it's going to rain. You're going to have inclement weather. I mean, that's
an old DJI who loves to release mini drones and follow me drones in the winter. Every time a mini drone or a Neo or something comes in, it's always on the worst winter. It's always on the worst weather day of the winter, or early winter.
Yeah. Oh, that's a given with this. At
least the summer weather, even if storms are coming through, you may be able to bounce out between a storm.
That's true. That's very true. So,
so hang tight. There'll be a major blizzard that day.
Yeah. My advice for everybody is to hang tight with this and wait till it comes out. And wait, like I said, if you have the money in your pocket and it's burning a hole and you got to get it, go do it. But
if you're Daddy Warbucks, just to spend whatever.
But if you want to do like Ron and I did before, and I don't know who it was, but somebody responded back to me, Ron, because I told him to wait for a week. He messaged me and he said, Bill, thank you. I waited a week and I got it for $100 less. Okay. So, the old adage, it's true. You wait a week on these, you will pay less money for it. All right.
I know John Joneflower, he hasn't got the Mavic 4 yet, but the prices are way down now. He saw somebody selling one with the RC2 controller for like $2,500 or something like that. RC2 Pro too. So the deals are getting better and better on the Mavic 4 Pro.
They sure are. And Johnny was smart in waiting on that. I mean, that's
SuperGeo .com says anti-gravity goggles are hard to beat, and I did hear that from many people that they thought the the anti-gravity goggles were the best goggles they used yet. So yeah, that'll be, you know, we think DJI is going to use the same goggles that they have now, so they won't probably be upgrading their goggle game here.
Yeah. Now,
unfortunately, I didn't not a chance to look at the inside the anti. I saw the drone, I saw the goggles, but I didn't get to look through the, you know, the goggles feed on them.
now I want to go ahead and put this article up here, and this is from our friend Vic Moss, and I thought it was important enough to include this in tonight's show here, because you know, let me go ahead and get that article up here. And there. Okay. Now, comments to the White House, why the U.S. community must speak now. You know, and he gives an explanation of that. And then he also goes through how to contact the White House. Now, I actually did this. There's a link right here where it has contact. Now, it doesn't, he cautions how to do this here. Start with a story. Do you operate a drone business, fly recreationally, work for a first responder agency, use drones in education, run a retail outlet that can no longer get product, you know, avoid templates. But a couple of things. What I did today was right here under FCC ruling. I just pretty much carbon copy that. Now, it only takes 4,000 characters, and this took about 2,000 right here. And then in the rest, I went on display to say, you know, I've been a Part 107 SUAS pilot since 2017. I have a drone channel called Build a Drone Reviewer. You know, it's educational in nature, and we serve the drone community at large, both the hobbyists and Part 107 pilots. You know, when you're doing that, and you know, there's different. And he suggests to go ahead and send it in different sections, and that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to do a different one on the seizure of DJI shipments. And then, you know, and then so forth. But one of the things that I asked for directly is, you know, all DJI was wanting was to be, you know, to have them take a look and have them investigated for the national security concerns. So I asked that be done, and you'll show that DJI has a clean bill of health, and we can move forward here with this. You know, this article was very well put together. Of course, you know, I'm sure Vic and his team did a great job on it, and they did. I did read through this, so. You know, I would suggest, you know, if you want to go ahead and still voice your opinion, this goes directly to the White House. This isn't to Congress. This isn't to your senator or congressman. This goes to the White House. And I'm going to drop this link here in the chat. I'm also going to make sure that it will be out there. There it is right here. It'll be out, you know, in the description for the video, because, you know, like, you know, I know a lot of people are skeptical about whether or not this actually helps or makes a difference. You know, it can't hurt is my response in something like this. And it's pretty easy to cut and paste and to fill out that form, and you get an acknowledgement that it's been sent. So, you know, I did it because I felt it like it was a good thing to do. So you guys can decide what you want to do, but you know, it's my opinion is I think it'll serve you guys well if you go ahead and do this. So so I would definitely recommend that. I would definitely recommend that. So, you know, we're at the point in the show, and I'm going to say, you know, what, you know, it's not, you know, and I don't have a banner up for it, but we're going to talk about Team USA Hockey Nation right now, because, you know, this is the first time since 2014 that the NHL has been playing in the Olympics. And it really, I mean, this whole schedule, I mean, there's really, you know, the NHL shut down the month of February. They're over in Milan, you know, for this. Now, very interesting tidbit right here. One of my wife's former coworkers was on Team Italy's women's hockey. And she went over from here. She lives here, you know, in Florida. She went over to see her niece play over there, which was fantastic. Of course, Italy got eliminated, but my wife's friend said it was very thrilling to be able to go over and watch them. And it's really kind of different. One of the things, Ron, is they have a pre-locker room, then they have an actual locker room, because they have to stage teams because they have so many teams coming in. I mean, one game's over, they put a clean sheet of ice out there. Next game, I mean, it's like, you know, they keep going through this because they have so many teams that have to get out there and play. Now, one of the things that I think a lot of people aren't aware of is, the two best teams out there, and I think they're probably going to meet for the gold medal game, will be Team USA and Team Canada. All right.
Now, you talking men's or women's?
Men's.
Men's.
Okay. Without a doubt. I mean, the Florida Panthers had the most NHL players in the Olympics. They had 10 go out there. 2 of them went to Team Canada. 2 of them went to Finland. One went to Latvia. Another one went to Sweden. And see, the thing is, with a lot of these teams, you get like Sweden and Germany and Finland and everything. They have good talent on there, but it's not like NHL caliber talent for the whole team. That's why your teams like Team USA and Team Canada usually do better, because most of their squad is NHL players and not amateurs. They're professionals, and that's why they'll get to that round. So it's going to be exciting. The games are on. What's nice is you can watch the games live. They're on during the day. I was able to watch the game on Sunday afternoon. And what's nice is a couple things that are real nice about it is they only have one commercial break in a period, which is fantastic. And normally if you watch an NHL game, Ron, they put they superimpose ads on the boards and on the glass. So, but they don't do that for the Olympics here. I mean, it's nice to see that the game is in a really pure form. Now, the other thing with this is the actual rink, it's wider. It's at least 10 feet wider, and it's also 5 feet longer at the ends. So yeah, people say, does it really make a difference? Well, yeah, because these guys, most people don't know, they are on the ice for a minute to a minute and a half before they switch. And the reason they do that is you get winded very quickly out there on the ice. I mean, that's all long. That's 200 plus feet that you're skating back and forth, and you got to cover territory. So Team USA plays tomorrow. I'm not sure. They have to wait the results of a result today. But, I see them advancing easily to the next round. They're 3-0. They're playing very well. Their big guns are really producing for them. So we'll see. Is someone so well put, okay, in said, what do you want to bring back from Milan with you? Gold medals? He said, Canadian tears, he said. So I'm like, there you go for that. So Ron, any words of wisdom here before we wrap up things?
No, not really. We're just, we're kind of on a watch here for these, what we, sadly to say, what we think will be the final DJI drones to get FCC approval. So kind of in no hurry, because we're hurrying ourselves to the end of the release cycle at this point. So, I'm excited to see what the Pocket offers and the competing product from Insta360 as well. So that's going to be very interesting too. Whether we'll get any more Pocket cameras, we don't know. I mean, again, I'm confused. If they ban everything from DJI, including cameras, the one that how's Insta360 are going to get their cameras out if they're banning all Chinese cameras?
That's true. That's very true.
So, so anyhow, Bill, I don't really need these Lito drones. I mean, we all have the Mini 5 Pro. I don't really need the budget version of the Mini drone. So that I'll be interested to see what those drones, what features they have, what price points they come in. But it's not something I'm excited about as a buyer. And the 360 drone, it's interesting, but it's probably not a have to get drone for me. It's something that I'll take a look at, but I'm not guaranteed I'm hitting the buy button on that either. So I'd probably be more likely the Pocket 4 or the Insta360. That may be something I buy quicker than I would the drones. Just my opinion,
Well, I agree with you. Like the Lido series, I think I'm probably going to take a pass on that. It's you're getting a watered down version of what we currently own right now. And I'm sure it'll have a good price point and it will attract a lot of people. It's like the Mini 4K. I don't have one right now. I had the Spectre Mini, which was really the same drone. I liked it. And, the thing with me now, Ron, is, we've gotten spoiled. I've gotten spoiled with having a controller with a screen built in. Okay. It's just, I'm sorry. It's a real pain in the butt to get your phone, get it lined up so you don't hit the volume buttons, and get your cable plugged in and make sure it fits in there and everything. And it's a real pain in the butt to do that. And you don't
then
have
once
to
you
do
get
that.
outside the brace, suddenly you can't see what you're doing.
Yeah. And with the
Well,
new
you
controls.
I'm sorry, I take that back. You have an Android phone, so you don't have that issue, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, all in all, I think, what you said makes a lot of sense. I'm real curious. There's a couple things that are starting to pique my interest a little bit. If that Osmo 360 had replaceable lenses, I would probably be taking a serious consideration at it. But because if those lenses break, you're kind of
Yeah.
screwed as far as that's
And
concerned.
the thing is, the version 2 will have them. Whether the version 2 is available for sale in the US is the bigger question.
Yeah, that's a much bigger question here. And somebody so astutely pointed out here is, and I saw this is kind of what I'm going to close with is, okay, they're allowing firmware updates to our drones that are breaching national security, but yet we can't get them here in the US because they're officially they're blacklisted, but they're allowing firmware updates to blacklisted products. I mean, just
None of this makes any sense. Yeah.
no, it makes no sense whatsoever. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for all this. I'm going to drop that link from Vic Moss. It'll be in the description for tonight's show. I want to thank you guys. You guys did great in the chat tonight. It was fantastic. Great show last night on Drone Nation. That was great having Lauren on. That went really, really well. And hope things are well with you, Lauren, up there. And as always, guys, remember, it's a great day to fly. Take care, and we will see you next week.
Good night, folks.